a shit. He's like, I'm not weighing. He don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck. Today is November 14th. So in less than a month, I'm going to be 41 years old. So a lot of people freak out when they turn 40, and I know I was definitely kind of like curious as to what it would be like at 40. Not that 40 should be any different than 39, but as you guys just saw, 210.6, and I think I was 217 last week. So I came down about another 7 pounds in a week. And I feel like this weight right here, this is a good weight for me. I like this weight, and I think I'm gonna try to maintain this weight and this look in general. I definitely feel tighter and harder. My clothes fit better. And as fate would be, because I opened my fucking mouth, I think last week during a video, I got sick. I said, I know I never get sick. I've only been sick like twice in the last 2 years. Last March when I was at the Arnold, I was sick for like 2 days. And yesterday I started feeling a little weird and my sinuses get like a lot of pressure. And sure enough, you know, I'm fucking sick. So it's not like I'm, you know, fever and I'm all fucked up or whatever. It's just my sinuses will be a little fucked up for a couple days and I just feel a little off, but nothing that'll stop me from like training and eating the foods and shit that I gotta do. So today, it's a pretty gloomy day out there. It's like that Thanksgiving fucking, all the trees are fucked up colors, or cool colors, not fucked up. And, you know, we're gonna head, and I'm actually gonna be switching my split a little bit today, which I have not done in about 4 years. And the exercises are not really gonna change, but I'm gonna do chest, tris, and shoulders on one day, and back and bis on another, and then legs on another. And it's gonna be basically push-pull legs type deal. And what I'm gonna do is every week, the upper body will rotate, so it'll be trained twice. So like this week, Monday will be chest, shoulders, and tris. Tuesday will be back and bis. Thursday will be legs. Friday will be chest, shoulders, and tris again. Next week when I come in, back and bis is the first workout, chest, shoulders, and tris, legs on Thursday, and then back bis on Friday. It'll rotate like that, so every other week, my upper body will get 2 workouts. You can hear Brady running around there. 2 workouts in 1 week, and it rotates like that. So I'm gonna do that for a little while. I just feel like, you know, having a shoulder day where I'm doing presses on shoulders, it doesn't feel really good under my shoulder joints. So what I'm gonna try to do is basically do my compound pressing movements for chest, which, you know, warm up your shoulders and hit your shoulders as well. Then hit my isolation movements. And I used to train like this with Levroni, so it's kind of going back to the Levroni split. So I'm going to do that for a little while. Also, I've changed a few things in my rep scheme. So I'm not hitting the 35 to 40 reps right now. It's more of a 10 to 12 rep range, more of a hypertrophy range. And I'm going to stick with that for a little while. Not because I feel like, you know, it's going to yield overall better results, but I feel like as I was progressing with those higher reps, I noticed that I wasn't getting the same fullness. The sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, I wasn't getting the same fullness after a while, which means it's not having its effect. For one reason or the other, it's not having the same effect. So I'm going to cut back on it, then I'll go back to it after I feel like I've rested long enough, which I don't know how long that'll be. So let's do a quick physique update, and then we're going to actually show you some stuff on the marker board today, diet-wise, rather than showing you in the kitchen, because who fucking gives a shit what I'm eating, right? Okay, so this is where I'm sitting at right now, 210.6 or something like that. I feel like this is a good solid weight for me that I can maintain my diet easily, my training, etc., etc. So this is where I'm going to be at. I think I'm going to try to lean up a little bit more for the honeymoon, which is in about 4 weeks. Yeah, so December 9th we're taking off. So I'm going to do that and you know, just try to maintain the leanness. I feel a lot better being at this body weight. I'm not going to lie. I feel 10 million times better. It is a lot of weight to drop in a couple weeks. You know, I came down from 220, 224, 221, whatever the fuck in the 220s I was, down to 210 in 2 weeks. So it's about 10 or 12 pounds within 2 weeks time, which I was on a Skype last night with Jason, and Jason was like, dude, your body changes so fast. He's like, I don't understand. It's pretty amazing. And I had to try to explain to him that, A, it's part of my genetics. Like, you know, Aaron and I were talking about this last week. My genetics, like, through my entire childhood, my weight would go up and down and up and down. And like, it literally would bounce up and down. I never was totally fat and I never was totally skinny. It would just continuously go up and down. Like, my body can handle swings in weight genetically for some reason. I'm not really sure why. My dad was the same way. He'd get really big and come down. My mom is the same way. She can get, you know, really heavy and come down. So part of it's genetics, but part of it is also being able to control my food and not be a bitch about it. Let's face facts. You know, I have people all the time like, Jerry, I can't do this. I can't do it. Shut the fuck up. Like, you know, you can't is keeping you from getting to your results. You can't is keeping you from getting to your goal. Like, you have not reached your fucking goal. Why do you think that is? Because you're pussyfooting around being a little bitch, not sticking to the fucking foods, not hitting all your workouts, not doing your cardio. Like, just get it fucking done. If you get it fucking done, in the end, you'll get what you want and get to where you need to be. If you don't, you're just going to fucking spin your wheels for the rest of your life and never accomplish your goal. You know, so it's a matter of, you know, focusing and getting shit done that I need to get done. Genetics coupled with it. You know, I've had several people this round of, you know, trainees drop anywhere from 30 to 50 pounds in 12 weeks. That's big amounts of weight that people try to drop fucking their entire lives that can't do. Because they finally just buckled down and fucking did what they needed to do. And 50 pounds, the most I've ever dropped in 12 weeks is 60 pounds. So this client was literally 10 pounds off of my best loss in 12 weeks. And he's not a competitor. You know, he's a regular, everyday average Joe who wanted to lose weight. You know, he wasn't even really training, you know, when I met him. So be aware, guys. Like, you have to buckle down. You have to get your shit done. That's just how it is. And if you don't, you're going to fucking take 3, 4, 5, and 10 times longer to finally accomplish your goals. So let's get to that marker board and talk about some of the diet stuff. That noise when you heard Brady run around the background, that was him fucking chewing the electrical tape. It's like having a fucking 2-year-old kid. Little shit. All right, so let's get down to it. So this week, where did I start? So I started with, so this is when I was 220, let's say 4, I think it was, something like that, 224 pounds, right? And I'm 210.6 now, and that's 2 weeks difference, okay? Hopefully you guys can see all that, right? All right. Now, protein, carbs, and fats. Here I was eating 240 grams of protein, I was eating 400 grams of carbs, and 80 grams of fat. Right now I'm eating 80 grams of fat, and so the protein is up to 275, right? 50, 60, 75, and then the carbs have dropped down to, it was 70, so 365. So calorically, they're still the same. Calories have not changed. Now, the calories in, calories out, scientific, you know, thermodynamics, okay, would say that this is not possible for me to go down 14 pounds in 14 days, okay? That's a pound a day that I've come down by not changing my calories. I have not increased my cardio. My cardio is still 10 minutes, 4 times a week. My workouts are still 4 days a week, times about 60 minutes, okay? So output has not changed. Calories, the caloric intake has not gone down. Yet I'm able to drop 14 pounds in 14 days. How is that possible? I know the answer to this. I want to see if the wingnuts have the answer to this. Go ahead and put it down in the comments below if you think you have the answer to how this happened. I mean, right now I'm going to tell you right now, this has never been studied by science. Scientists had never studied what's going on right here on this board, specifically because they don't need to study it. This is not going to solve any disease problems. It's not going to solve world hunger. There's no need. Unless they cure every disease on the entire planet and solve every fucking problem, there's no reason to ever study what's going on this board. There is no answer to it scientifically, okay? But I will tell you this. Some people say, well, Jerry, you know, you reduced your carbohydrates, so water, you know, with the carbohydrates will be released and you'll drop that water. Okay, hang on a second. Now, this protein right here, let's say the 240 up to 275, you will now have more protein, less carbohydrates. Let's say some of this, just theoretically, this is for the water, some of this is turning into glycogen via gluconeogenesis. So you're technically now increasing your carbs back to where they were, okay? At the same time decreasing your protein. That would actually take more water. These fuckers with the things that leaf blowers outside. That would actually take more water for the gluconeogenesis to happen and then to load it into the muscle. You would actually need more water and more sodium in your body, hence would actually retain more water. So it would at least be the same, if not more weight held by water, okay? Again, intestinal mass, okay, or poop that's in your system, right? the foods that I'm eating are the same exact foods. Now, anybody who's ever been on a ketogenic diet knows that when you crank up this protein like this, more times than not, you actually go to the bathroom less, not more. So you're not excreting more food, hence the weight loss. What happens is you actually wind up gaining weight. So, not to be oversharing, but yes, I go to the bathroom less with less carbohydrates. That's how it is. So technically I should be heavier, yet I'm still leaner than I was. And I'm leaner, more muscular. Like, I'm not getting weaker in the gym. I feel good. I'm not losing muscle. I have lost water and fat together in the last 2 weeks. How is that possible? Like I said, I know the answer to this. Well, I have the theory to the answer of this because it hasn't been studied. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what the wingnuts say down in the comments below, because wingnuts cannot say, Jerry, I don't know. We don't have an answer for this. Wingnuts will try to explain this shit through every fucking viable option that really has nothing to do with what's on this board right now, rather than say, I don't know. Rather than say, you're right, a calorie is not just a calorie, a carbohydrate is not just... They will not say that. They will fight to the fucking death and not say that. At least you'll hear me time and time again say, I don't really fucking know. I don't really know how this fucking works, but I can replicate it over and over again. Therefore, I know it exists, okay? That doesn't mean that I'm a fucking scientist. It doesn't mean I'm fucking smarter or better than anyone else. What it means is I stumbled upon this shit years ago and was able to replicate it with myself and my clients over and over again, even though science says that these things cannot happen. Now, a really good science person who's not a wingnut, maybe not a scientist, but a science person, would say, Jerry, science hasn't uncovered everything, and we're learning new stuff every day. We're also learning things that we thought were fact are not fact now. So therefore, this very well could exist, and we have not found it yet, studied it yet, or stumbled upon it yet. Other wingnuts would say this is impossible. Well, I do it over and over again. If you go back through these videos, I have over 2,000 videos on this channel where I've replicated this on myself and other clients time and time and time again. It's very difficult for someone to tell me that it doesn't exist or can't happen, that you have to be in a caloric deficit. I'm in no caloric deficit whatsoever. I have no caloric expenditure that is higher than what I was before, yet I'm continuing to drop weight without hitting a plateau or having metabolic adaptation. How is that possible? Comment below. All right, now we're going to go ahead and hit our meals and stuff and get ready to go to the gym. We'll do some filming over there. A little bit different workout today. I think we're going to go to Rockville because I have a full client load. My clients who actually had a baby are back. So I have a full client load till about 9:30 tonight. So we're going to film over there. That gym's a lot emptier, and it's just easier for me to bring my shit there, train, get ready, eat, and do my stuff over there. So let's get ready and get our day rocking. Alright guys, bear with me with this cold that I have. We started off today with the hammer strength decline bench press, which actually I used this machine a lot when I was coming back from my rotator cuff. I don't go too heavy. Really, to be honest with you, I don't go heavy in benching anymore at all. There's really no point. Saves my joints, and I feel a lot more of a contraction with this and less in my shoulders. So I go up to like 3 plates on each side, and I'll hit 10 to 12 reps, and you know, 3 to 4 sets. Today I did 4, sometimes I do 3. It depends on how I'm feeling, if I'm feeling strong. I didn't feel very strong being sick today, so ended with 4 sets of 10 to 12. Moving on to the dip machine. I personally like to lean forward a little bit with the dip machines. It takes the triceps out of it a little bit and hits the pecs more. You can actually see the pec on the incline, or the upper pec, excuse me, contracting as I push down. I mean, of course, it's always going to hit the triceps, but I feel like this machine over here in Rockville is probably the best dip machine that I've ever used in my entire life. Yeah, it just totally isolates the pecs. I feel a lot better than the triceps. Moving on, the old school style pec deck. A lot of gyms don't have this machine anymore, and this one's actually broken. Like, it used to have like a foot pedal that you could step on and bring those handles forward. And you know, at this point now, you know, I can't go too heavy with this because of the rotator cuff, but right down the middle of the chest, I know you can't work inside of a muscle, can't work outside of a muscle, but you feel that contraction right down the inside of your chest. A lot different than a regular fly machine or a crossover or anything like that. So again, when I'm at this gym, I'll usually jump on this machine for a couple sets. So I did 3 sets here of 10 to 12, just squeezing as hard as I could and contracting. Moving on to, of course, a staple. If you're going to do a bench press, a cable crossover is always a staple in any chest workout. The Cybex machine here, I like these adjustable Cybex machines. The old school cable crossovers where you're like in the middle of like the giant cable thing, it doesn't have the same feel. Like this one you can adjust up and down, do like upper pec, lower pec. This one overall, like where I put the handles here, it kind of hits the overall pec. Like I feel this more like, in a stretch rather than a contraction with these because I don't cross my hands over. You know, the cable crossover it's called because you're supposed to cross your hands over, but I feel like when I pull it together I get a much better pump and constant tension on the muscle than if I'm crossing over at the bottom. Take a little swig of Intracell. Shameless plug in the middle of the video. Moving on to the seated lateral raises. Now, this is my second workout ever with Versa grips. I got a pair for Erin. She really liked them. And funny thing, and this is a totally true story, I take my wedding ring off so I don't scratch it up when I train. And I used to have like this necklace, and I fucking lost the necklace. So regular straps weren't really working out. So the Versa grips, you can use it as like just kind of like a glove, so it doesn't fuck it up. So when I saw how hers worked, I said, fuck it, I'll just get a pair of those. So I'm still learning how to use these fucking things, but I mean, they work pretty well. So 4 sets of seated side lateral raises, trying not to swing too much with the new Versa grips. And we're going from there to seated front raises. These I actually have to go a lot lighter on. Any kind of front raise, you probably don't know this unless you've had an injury to it, but your bicep tendon actually is at a very vulnerable position when you're doing this. It does take some of that workload, and you know, when the guys do the hammer grip front raises with like tons of weight, that would just completely fuck my bicep tendon up totally, which I've done in the past. And you know, going lighter and squeezing is really what I got to do on these, just to make sure that it doesn't flare that injury up. I mean, it sucks. I really would rather be going heavier, but it is what it is at this point. Another staple for, you know, every shoulder workout just about that I do. Sometimes I do on my back day too, is the reverse cable crossover or rear delt cable fly. I mean, it's got so many different names. And you can see this like every single time I do it, no matter how I wing my scapula, I pronate or whatever, you'll see my traps always take over. My traps always take over in pretty much any delt movement, no matter how I try to keep my form, how light I go, how heavy I go. I just have given up at this point and said, fuck it. If my traps take over, they take over. As long as I get that burn in the rear delt, I don't really care if the trap gets some work in there too. We finish off with some triceps. Now I did actually 6 sets of this exercise right here because again, I wasn't really feeling very good. I'm sick, I don't feel very well, and I don't want to take a day off. You know what I mean? I feel like I still got a good pump. I feel like I'm maintaining just fine. So to go in the gym and try to hit PRs when I'm sick, I mean, if I feel good, I'll do it, you know. I felt low on energy today. Like the weather was fucked up. It was freezing out. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me just go see what I can do. So this is, I believe, the last set of these. Might be the second to last set. And so what I do is I go in there and I see how the first few sets go, and I keep pyramiding up until I get to the point where I feel like I'm hitting, you know, as good as I can on each set. And if I feel like I need to back down, I'll back down. If I feel like I can go up, I'll go up. You know, nowadays, you know, listening to my body is key to not fucking myself up like I've done in the past. Sometimes when you feel really good, though, you start pushing and you just go too far, you know. So a little bit of wisdom with that training comes in handy now too. Final exercise of the day for me is the cable crunch. Now, I don't usually train abs. I didn't train them for about 10 years or something like that. And with the back injury that I had from the hip problem, strengthening my abdominals, because I can't squat anymore. If I was squatting, I wouldn't be doing these, but I can't squat anymore. So I throw in 4 sets of abs at the end of every single upper body workout. So it's 3 times a week I'll be doing these to strengthen my core. And I finish off with a recumbent bike after every workout. I hop on here and I bang out 10 minutes. You'll see the intensity that I use. It's not a HIIT. It is a steady state, but it's not like a low intensity. It wouldn't be considered a high intensity. I guess it would be considered a, I don't know, like a moderate intensity. It gets my heart rate up to where I need it to be. And as long as I'm consistent keeping that heart rate up, it gets the job done. Yeah, it helps keep you lean doing cardio, but the main focus of this after the workout. Now, remember, while you're training with weights, to failure really hard, your heart does get a good workout. However, it's not the same thing as keeping your heart rate elevated for any period of time because you're stopping and starting between sets. So, of course, Erin, you know, being in the heart surgery deal, you know, always gets on me about, you're 40 now, you got to take care of your heart. And she's right. You know, I've put a lot of stress on my heart throughout the years. And you know, I should be doing some stuff like cardio. So this concludes our workout, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we're out. What happens if you train with me long enough? You start to look like me. So I know Ken for like almost 10 years. Next year, it'll be 10 years in like January. And literally everybody thinks we're related all the time. All the time. Like, is he your brother? Is he your cousin? So if you train long enough with me, you'll go bald, get tan, and have a beard too. If you're lucky.